Revenge films.
My husband and I have been happily married for 2 years now. Even after getting married, I decided to keep working, so we both work now. One day I got a call that my mother-in-law had collapsed. After that, my mother-in-law decided it would be best for her to stay in the hospital for a while longer. To that, my husband said,
As you know, my dad's not in the picture anymore. And now that my mom's in the hospital, there's no one to look after my little brother at our family home anymore. I know it's asking a lot from you, but I was wondering if we could move into my family home and help out with the chores there, and help to look after my brother for a little while.
That's what he'd asked me. My husband's little brother was still in his first year of high school, so my husband said that it would be difficult for him to look after himself. And although we could invite him over to live with us for the time being, that would also make him have to commute longer than if he were to stay at their family home. All the points my husband was making made sense, and I felt bad for his little brother, so I decided to agree to us moving into their family home and helping his brother for the time being. After a few days of having moved in, my husband came to me saying,
My salary's gone down.
What? By how much?
$1,000.
$1,000? I was surprised when I heard that, but it's true that a lot of people are having a tough time right now. So I just accepted that our household had been hit hard too by the recent recession. Even though I was still working full-time, I knew that collectively if my husband and I were $1,000 short every month from now on, then things would be tougher for us in general. To try and make up for the loss in our overall finances, I decided to make lunch boxes for lunch moving forward. But to that, my husband said that he didn't like the idea of having to carry lunch to his office every day.
I can't do something as embarrassing as that!
But what else can we do? Until now, we had that extra $1,000 to get us through. But now we don't, so we had to save on some things. I could tell that my husband wasn't happy with my idea, but I knew that it'd help us save money, so I went forward with it. While I was making lunch for me and my husband, I also decided to make lunch for my brother-in-law too. I knew that especially with the amount of food men eat, I would be able to save us so much money by making home-cooked lunches for both of them. Here are both your lunch boxes for today. I knew that they both ate a lot, so I made lunch boxes for them filled with meat and filling foods. But that night when they both got home, did you enjoy your lunch boxes today?
I give it a 50 out of 100.
Oh, it wasn't that good? I really tried my best to make it good, though. His brother also chimed in, saying,
I give it a 10 out of 100. You should have made the lunchbox more visually appealing. It's embarrassing enough that I have to bring a lunchbox to school, but on top of that, having to open that lunchbox up at school was excruciating.
Because of how they'd felt about my lunch boxes, neither of them had actually eaten that much of the lunches I packed for them. I'm sorry for that. I'll try harder next time. I really did try my best to make them both appealing and filling lunches, so I was taken back by both of their severe opinions about them. But I still wanted to do better, so I went to the bookstore and bought many books on how to make delicious packed lunches. I went straight home and read up about all of the foods that my husband might like, and also what kind of foods teenagers might want to take to school, too. The next morning, I decided to wake up 1 hour earlier than usual and put together my husband and his brother's lunch boxes. This time, I made sure to take into consideration how they looked and also the nutrition value of them both. Good morning, you two. I hope both of you enjoy your lunches today. I tried extra hard to make them both to your liking. To that, my brother-in-law simply said,
I see.
And left for school with his lunchbox. My husband also didn't seem all that excited for his lunchbox and just took it out of my hands and left for work. That night, as soon as they both came home, welcome back, you two. They both simply showed me the lunches I'd made for them earlier this morning.
How on earth did you ever think that we'd be able to eat such lunches as these?
And with that, they both threw their untouched lunches in the trash. To this, I was so shocked. How can you both do such a horrible thing?
It's impossible for us to eat such disgusting food for lunch. You don't have any talents when it comes to cooking, so just give it up already and hand us over money so we can buy our lunches from now on.
My husband's brother also said,
Exactly! I don't want to have to eat this cold, disgusting mush for lunch. I want to buy something warm for myself at the cafeteria. So give me money.
But darling, your salary went down. That's why we have to save money somehow. My husband knew that men in general eat a lot of food, and there weren't any issues with that up until now because for one, my husband was still making a lot of money, and two, we weren't having to look after his brother. But now, my husband's salary's gone down, and also it's not like we'd ask a high schooler to go find a part-time job in a pinch. We were fully looking after his brother financially for the time being. While his brother was still living with their mom, they were both able to survive on the mom's pension and on the money she saved up from before. But because we didn't know how long she'd have to be in the hospital, my husband said that we can't take money from her at all in order to look after his brother. And so, if that's the case, then there's nothing we can do but to consciously save money. Saving on food is the easiest and best way we can save money.
You're in charge of all the money in our household, so it's your fault if we don't have enough money now. This has nothing to do with my salary going down.
But your salary went down by $1,000. That amount of money is bound to have an impact on any household, no matter how well they've been managing their finances so far. So we have to find ways to save money now.
Stop trying to make all of this my fault!
I'm not. I'm just saying, can you both please understand that I'm trying my best to make these lunch boxes for the two of you in order to save money for all of us?
But how can we agree to such a thing when the food you make tastes like trash? I can't continue having to take such disgusting food to lunch. Hurry up and hand over money. Now!
At this point, I was so sad about what they had both said to me despite me having tried my best for all of us, that I couldn't be in the house with them any longer and I ran outside. That's when... Oh, you must be Mr. Smith's wife, right? A woman approached me while I was sitting on a bench in the park nearby. I looked up and realized my husband's superior's wife, Miss Hopkins, was standing in front of me with her daughter. I knew Miss Hopkins from before when I was at a work barbecue dinner organized by my husband's company, and we ended up sitting at the same table. I especially remembered her from that event because she was very kind to me that night. Are you okay there? You look very pale. Well, it's just that my husband and his brother have been complaining to me that my cooking is bad, and they won't eat the lunch boxes I make for them. What? I remember the pie and fried chicken you brought to the barbecue dinner for the first time we met, and they were both amazingly delicious dishes. Oh, thank you for those kind words, but I've really lost confidence in my cooking skills over the last few days. I don't know what to do about them anymore. To that, Miss Hopkins and her daughter gave me a great idea. A few days later, I gave my husband and his brother lunch boxes again. Here you go, the both of you.
How many times do we have to tell you that we don't want to bring prepared lunches anymore? Exactly! Just hurry up and give us money to buy our lunches already!
I tried super hard this time to make delicious lunches for the both of you, so I hope you'll both enjoy them today. With that, the two of them just stared at me.
Whatever. It's all going to end up in the trash anyway.
And with that, they took their lunch boxes and were off. When the evening came around, they both got home as usual.
How dare you say that today's lunch was supposed to be delicious? It was super gross! I can't believe you tried to make us eat such disgusting food today! Today's lunch was just as trash as usual, you liar! Hurry up and just give us money to buy our lunches already!
And with that, they both threw away their lunches into the trash like before.
Do you finally get it now that your cooking is trash? It's trash! Stop trying so hard and just hand us over money! And if you're going to say that there isn't enough money for us to be buying our lunches, then you should go out and get another job to make up for the money we need for food!
That's when my husband and his brother finally came to realize that there were guests in our living room.
Wait, why are you in my house, Olivia? And what are you both doing here, Mr. and Miss Hopkins?
The lunch boxes you both threw away were actually filled with food that me and my mom both cooked.
What? Seriously?
With that, my brother-in-law hurriedly went to get his lunchbox out of the trash. I found out later, but apparently my brother-in-law and Olivia had in fact been dating.
Wait, don't get the wrong idea, Olivia! If I knew you had made it, I'd have eaten it with great gratitude!
That doesn't matter right now. I still can't believe this is the second time you've thrown away food that other people have made for you. We're over. I can't deal with being the girlfriend of someone who'd go out of their way to do such a horrible thing.
Wait, Olivia! Please don't go!
With that, my brother-in-law went after Olivia. Then Mr. Hopkins said to my husband,
I heard everything from my wife, Mr. Smith. I think we should make it clear here and now that the fact your salary went down at work is because we found out that you had had inappropriate relations with a female worker in the office.
To that, I was taken aback.
I hate that I'm having to tell you, Miss Smith, of this information under such circumstances. But I had to let you know the truth, ma'am. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Smith. Also, I know about the lunchbox situation. It's not that you didn't eat the lunch that your wife had prepared for you because it didn't taste good. It's because you just wanted to make your wife angry, and then make her give you money for lunch. That's why you did such horrible things to her. The dishes that your wife had prepared and brought to our previous barbecue dinner were amazing. So I know for a fact that there's no way the food she cooks wouldn't taste good. Please, Miss Smith, don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
With that, Mr. and Mrs. Hopkins left the house. After, I also found out that even after my husband and his relationship with one of his female colleagues had been uncovered, they'd still kept their relationship going behind everyone's backs. And while he continued to cheat on me, it became a nuisance for me to pack him lunch, as he'd already been making plans to go out and have lunch with the other woman. As for my brother-in-law, he simply was just embarrassed that he had to take a packed lunch to school. After I found out that my husband had indeed been cheating on me, I got divorced from him. Of course, I got him to pay for the emotional damage he caused me, and with him getting divorced, his reputation in the office got even worse than before. And according to Miss Hopkins, he was soon transferred to a small branch out in the countryside. As for my now ex-brother-in-law, his whole school found out about how he'd been dumped by Olivia because she found out he'd been throwing away his lunch, and apparently he lost all of his friends and no girls were willing to talk to him anymore. I guess they both got what they deserved. After all of this went down, Miss Hopkins and I kept in touch, and still go out to have tea sometimes. I don't know if I'll ever remarry with anyone anytime soon, but I hope whoever I end up with in the future will love the food I cook for them.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.